All right, guys, thanks so much for joining us for another episode of Life Inspired, where I bring people from all walks of life doing incredible things that are either self-made or they've just transformed their life in some way, be it with health, fitness, finances, you name it. And today I have a very special guest. He's one of my friends, one of my mentors, and I want to introduce Duane to you. So Duane, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself for a moment and share what you do, and we're going to get into your story right after that.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. I'm excited to be part of this episode. And so my name is Duane Spires, and I am a serial entrepreneur. I do a lot with brick and mortar business. I actually own a company called Extreme Youth Sports Incorporated, which is a pretty awesome company. We get to inspire kids to reach their goals through sports education. We do after-school programs, summer camps. We have evening martial art programs, like a lot of really cool stuff that the kids have a blast with. And then on the digital side, in the marketing world and in the coaching space, I actually work with people who own very similar businesses, and I consult with them to teach them how to improve their marketing, their sales, their operations, how to hire and train a team. So we really help them get their business to the next level.
Cool. And it started first years ago. How many years ago with martial arts?
Gosh, actually I was one of those guys that dropped out of college to pursue this crazy entrepreneurial dream that I had. So my first business got started right in year 2000. And it slowly morphed into what it is now. You know, it's funny because I look back, that many years ago, and I would have never imagined that it would look the way it does today. So the business model changed quite a few times.
And it runs as a standalone machine practically at this point, right?
It does. The after school and summer camp business is a 7-figure business. I have an amazing team of directors and coaches who run that program. And, at this point, I'm probably spending 1 to 2 hours a week in that business, and it is stronger than ever before.
That's so cool. And tell everyone a little bit about where you came from. Did you come from a family of entrepreneurs that were super successful already?
I definitely did not come from a family of entrepreneurs. My dad was an electrician. My mom was a preschool teacher. And, I tell my story a lot when I get on stage about how I grew up with, not all of the luxuries that everybody else had. We never really had that much money, and I always wanted more. I always, saw other families and other kids have nicer things and bigger houses and nicer cars. And, it just made me have that drive that I wanted to figure out how I could create that in my life. And because I was never handed anything and, no one ever let me borrow money or anything like that, I had to figure out everything on my own. So I got really involved with reading. I started going to a lot of local events, and I was able to start to create this business and become an entrepreneur. For me, it gave me the freedom, and it was always exciting, and it really impacted my life from an early age.
What motivated you to do that instead of going the traditional 9-to-5 route, finishing out school? What motivated you?
Oh, man, I had jobs. I remember one of my last jobs before I actually started my first company was I was a lifeguard, and I hated being told what to do by other people. I hated having to show up to work on certain times and get paid, hourly, and it was never something that I saw myself doing forever. And the more people that I started meeting that were business owners and they would share their story, it just inspired me to go, hey, this could be possible for myself. And I finally took the leap of faith and went out on my own and started my own company.
So cool. And, a lot of people listening to this podcast, some are entrepreneurs, but a lot of people, they have committed that 9-to-5, which is totally cool because you and I both know there's nothing wrong with that if that's
right.
what they want in life. But what they can take away from your story is the possibility you created for yourself and how you went after that. Just like a lot of people that maybe they want to lose the weight or change their health, but they feel like it's just a one-dimensional, life's never going to change, they're stuck.
Yeah.
Right? So hearing you change your professional life, which is really going to be your personal life, and we're going to dig into that, I hope this message really takes, they take this home. So
Yeah.
I'm sure that you didn't go from 0 to 7 figures overnight. So why don't you tell everyone in that first phase of your business life and entrepreneurship, what that was like, the highs and the lows.
Absolutely.
What went on up here?
Well, to start with the mindset first, I think it's important for everybody to acknowledge that there's going to be fear involved. There's going to be self-doubt involved. I remember always wondering if I was good enough to be able to create the business that I did. And when I look back, especially, being an entrepreneur at like the age of 18 or 19, I didn't know what I didn't know. And I think that that was kind of a blessing in disguise, because when I first started my company, the internet wasn't the way that it is today. There was no such thing as social media. I remember literally having this idea that I was going to teach karate classes to kids that went to daycares and to recreation centers. So for me, it came down to choosing just to get in the car, drive to a daycare, knock on the door, and present myself as this entrepreneur. I was basically like, hey, my name's Duane. I teach karate classes to kids. Can I have my program here at your daycare? And I'll never forget the very first door that I knocked on. I mean, literally knocking on a door. The director of that childcare facility opened it, and she's like, yeah, come on in. Tell me about your program. But see, that was the problem, because I wasn't prepared. I didn't really know much about my program. And she started asking me things like, how much do you charge for tuition? And how much do you charge for a registration fee? I didn't even know what a registration fee was. So I just started I was like, oh, we do $4 a class and registration fee is $4. Now keep in mind, I always came from like a lower income family. So I didn't have a good grasp of money, and I didn't know what my value was worth. And it took a few years for me to figure that out. And I think once I got the understanding that I could create success in my life and start to expand this business, it gave me this passion and this desire to experience freedom. And I started reading quite a bit. Even though I had dropped out of college, it was kind of funny. I stayed active in my fraternity. I mean, as long as they said I was paying dues, I could be involved. So where all my friends were going to classes that they paid for, I would just go to the library or the bookstore and read books that I wanted to read. I was involved with, management, leadership, marketing, sales, anything that I could get my hands on that could help my business go to the next level. That's what I was focused on. So when I look back at the ups and downs, anytime that I hit a roadblock, I realized that there was probably a book that I could read that would help me get past that roadblock. And that's exactly what I would do. I would read, take notes, and implement. And I think one of the biggest skills that I brought to the table at that age was I just took lots of action. Literally minute by minute, I was always doing something to get to that next level.
So cool. Just like anyone trying to start a business or trying to go on their weight loss journey,
Absolutely.
Same lesson.
Yeah, absolutely. When you look at people that are setting weight loss goals, for example, a couple things, number one is there's going to be fear. There's going to be self-doubt. Is this going to work for me? Am I able to stay consistent with this exercise plan or this diet? And then there's just this element of action that everybody has to commit to. And what's interesting is the more people that I met along my journey as an entrepreneur that were already successful, that were already demonstrating these attributes of what a successful entrepreneur would bring to the table, the more confidence I had in myself. And I can see how that's like a parallel with weight loss and fitness as well. It's like, if you can find people who resonate well with you, that are achieving their goals and going to that next level, like if you can get in with that group, their willpower alone will inspire you not to give up, and it'll inspire you to take more action.
Your environment, just like, a lot of the business owners you coach, you connect them, and just like in your own martial arts school, which is personal development, just like fitness, it's all group, right? And it's a culture and a community, and that's why those kids stay with you for years and grow as people.
Oh, absolutely. And and the same thing applies now when I mentor business owners and people that own, martial arts schools and childcare facilities and things like that. It's because we can speak from experience, we can help them go through the ups and the downs, and we can always show them that the goal is worth all of the daily grind. All the ups and downs are worth it because there is a finish line and they will get to it.
And just a shameless plug here on your behalf. Everyone listening, Duane has helped me a lot over the past 4 or 5 months now.
Yeah.
And, I met him through a friend. She, gave a great recommendation. I just jumped at it, and he's given me the confidence that I needed when I was doubting myself in business. As there's a lot of things I'm trying to accomplish right now, and he's kind of kept me to the path, just like a client that's trying to lose weight, that's hitting a wall, that's struggling.
Yes.
Coaching as a thing, regardless of what the thing is that you're coaching for, it's a process. And he's an excellent coach if you're looking for a business coach that, will fight in your corner and hold you accountable. So just wanted to plug that one in there real quick for you, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I always like to say that every top level Olympic athlete, they have coaches. Every professional fighter has a coach. Every entrepreneur that's going to the next level, they have some type of coach or mentor or support team that helps them get there. You can't do this on your own. And one thing, I want to compliment you on is that you are the person that inspires so many other people to get things done. And it's because you do that in your life, John. And that inspires me in return as well. So it goes full circle. Okay. It goes full circle. So anybody that's watching this interview right now, if it starts with you, if it starts with you making a commitment that you're going to eat better, or that you're going to work hard towards your entrepreneurial goals, or that you're going to go to the gym more regularly, or join, a group that's exercising together. When you start taking those actions and taking your life to the next level, the people around you, whether they say it or not, they will be inspired. And when they start taking additional action, they'll inspire you. So it is full circle, 100%.
I had one of those moments this morning. A buddy of mine that I knew through another coaching program, who's far more devout with his fitness. He's achieved a lot more with powerlifting and bodybuilding and stuff. And I put out this video yesterday when I was hitting the wall. I'm committed to my half marathon, as you know, and I forced myself to run 12 miles, which I'd never done in my life. And it was purely based on commitment and nothing else. And that video I put up motivated him to work out at night. So when I woke up this morning, he had given me a shout out and thanking me for motivating him. So that's that thing. That's that lesson you've been telling me to act on for 4 months now. And I finally started hitting it hard. And dude, it is showing up so much. And this is what I tell the members at my gym too. Like, share your wins, be that leader to other people. You'll get stronger yourself. It's so cool.
100%.
That's leadership, isn't it?
Oh, it absolutely is, and when on the topic of leadership, people sometimes get confused. Like, they think that leadership is for, the CEO at the top of the company or the president. Like, leadership starts with yourself. Leadership starts with inspiring and motivating the people around you and encouraging them to take their life to the next level and to reach their goals. I firmly believe that every single person that's watching this interview right now has the ability to be a leader in some capacity, great or small. And either way, like, if you do have a 9-to-5 job, that's fantastic. Be the best person you can be in that position. If you work out twice a week, the best of your ability. If you work out 4 times a week, do that to the best of your ability. Whatever it is, it comes by, you always hear the old saying, lead by example. Okay. You reap what you sow. It really starts with a personal choice to be better, to be greater. And we all have the ability to lead.
I love that you said that. That brings me to my next question. So through your entrepreneurial journey, who is the person you've had to become in the process to get to where you want to be? Because I say this a lot with my clients that are not where they want to be right now. And I talk about who they have to become. So who is it that you had to become? How did you have to evolve?
Yeah. Such a powerful question, John. So the person that I had to choose, and I'm gonna use my language very intentionally right now. The person that I had to choose to become was somebody who, was comfortable with going outside of my comfort zone. Okay, so that's number one. I would be lying if I said that I wasn't nervous or anxious or afraid to go to the next level. Like, I have multiple businesses going right now, and they continue to grow with me and without me being there. So that's a little bit of a scary thing. So I have to be outside of my comfort zone. Another thing, I had to choose to become the person that was okay with sacrificing today to have a better tomorrow. And I don't mean that like I live a horrible life today, but what I'm saying is like delayed gratification is so important. When somebody especially starts in like the weight loss game and they want to improve their fitness, it doesn't happen overnight. Okay. It doesn't happen by just going to the gym once or twice a week. There's a lot of things that change. They have to change their diet. They have to change their habits. So for me, I had to understand that it's not okay to like turn on the TV for 4 hours a night and watch a bunch of Netflix. Instead, I had to be the person that would read. When I wake up in the morning, I'm not the person that jumps on social media and, fills my brain with negativity, especially now with like the political climate and the way that things are. I have to avoid that. So I have to be the person, I have to choose to be the leader who puts my goals first. One thing that I like, what I saw you recently said is that the world will go on without you. It'll wait. Like you have to take care of you first. That's what I had to really get.
Yeah, with ourselves in business, with our client, like even your martial arts students and their parents and the people I'm helping, lose weight and transform their lives. It shows up everywhere,
Absolutely.
So how many businesses do you own currently and are you operating?
Give me a second to count. 5 right now.
Okay.
5 right now. We have right around 20 employees. So, for me to be able to have 5 businesses, I have to be the type of person, this kind of piggybacks on this last question. I have to be the person that leads by example. I have to be the person that builds up my team. Sometimes leaders want to do all of the work themselves, and I can't be that leader. It's impossible at this level. So I have to be a strong person to delegate, to acknowledge when my team does well. I'm constantly the person trying to find people doing what's right and acknowledge them for their action. And to be there as a consistent leader. You can't be the person who doesn't show up. You have to stay active in some capacity at a consistent level. So, a lot of this has a parallel that goes back to entrepreneurship and success, and whatever your definition of success is, or whatever your goal is, whether it's weight loss or getting a promotion or starting a business, you just have to be willing to make those short-term sacrifices to get to the next level, to get to that bigger picture. And it always pays off. You'll see me post on social media all the time. Hard work pays off. It always does.
What are your success principles you apply to all areas of your life, from being a great father, a great husband, a great business leader? What are some of the nuggets, the golden nuggets and rules that people could take away?
One of the biggest takeaways is going to be the power of creating successful habits. It's one thing to set a goal. It's like, okay, I want to make $1 million this year. All right, that's a goal. But if we just say that that's what we want, even if we just write it down, it doesn't mean that it's going to actually happen. What I've learned in my journey is that I have to clearly define what habit I must develop that will allow the goal to happen. So for example, you want to make a 7-figure business. Well, you have to define what you're going to do hour by hour of every single day. You can't create this huge enterprise without being structured hourly. It's kind of funny. There's a show, I watch about 30 minutes, maybe 45 minutes of Netflix right before I go to sleep. And I intentionally do that because my brain won't shut off. Like if I go straight from like trying to read a book or having a business conversation, and if I try to go to sleep right after, I'll literally stay up all night. Like I'll toss and turn. So instead of watching it for multiple hours, I'll watch it for, like one episode of a show. And it's kind of funny. There's a show called House of Cards, and it's a political show, and it's a great program. But what's funny about it is they really show like the main character, Frank Underwood, having like this very strategic schedule, like hour by hour. I always ask myself, if I was the president of the country or the president of like this billion-dollar corporation one day, what would my daily schedule look like? Would I have time to waste? And the answer to that is no. So I'm very strategic about the way that I schedule my time, from the people that I associate with, to the phone calls that I take, to the meetings that I attend. And I structure it in a way that once I'm finished, then when I have family time, I have 2 kids. I have 2 daughters, a 12-year-old and a 15-month-old. I want to spend time with my family, and I want it to be uninterrupted quality time. I don't want to have to be the guy that's on my phone checking social media, responding to text messages, or jumping on a call. I'm very strategic about structuring my calendar on a daily basis. So that's just one of the many habits that I've had to create over the years to allow for success like that to happen. And it pays off quite a bit. And even if we go back to talk about like weight loss and fitness and exercising, it's not hard to schedule a reoccurring workout. Let's say you do it 3 days a week, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. It's easy to commit to that. So if that's the habit that you define, then the weight loss goal does occur. Then, for me, it's like, I want to put on mass. I'm in the gym, like lifting weights. Like that's when those goals become real, once the habit is defined. And then of course the action to make the habit stay consistent.
I love this. This is exactly what the people listening to this needed to hear.
It works it literally, if you want a better relationship, schedule time for your relationship. If you want to learn another language, schedule time to learn the other language. Like create that habit.
Thank you. That is something I can never hear enough too. So, cool. Well, I do want to ask you, since this is a strong health and fitness theme, so what we like to focus on here. I know you're big into nutrition,
yes,
eating, and exercise. How does that show up? What are your general ideas and habits around that?
Yeah.
How does that show up personally and professionally in your life?
Yeah, absolutely. So health and nutrition is one of my very top priorities in life. If you go back about 5 years ago, I was the guy who could eat and drink anything that I wanted, no matter what it was. I rarely would gain weight. I wasn't the healthiest because of eating and drinking whatever I wanted, but like I always had a slim figure so I could get away with it. And then I was about 32 years old, and I started getting chronic joint pain, chronic massive like migraine type headaches, situations with my my bowels, and like just I was always feeling sick, to the point where I actually ended up going to the emergency room twice, and the doctors ran test after test after test to figure out where all this pain was coming from. So I finally got diagnosed by having celiac disease, which, as you may or may not know, the people that are watching this, is I cannot have wheat protein. So I have to be gluten-free. So how does this apply to entrepreneurship? How does this apply to success? Well, let me wrap this all together. Becoming gluten-free for me also made it easier for me to choose to stop consuming dairy. So that was the next step in my nutrition, is I stopped eating dairy. Once I cut all of that out of my diet, I instantly felt healthier. All the pain went away. I was able to have more energy. I was able to go to the gym again. I mean, literally, I went from doctors telling me that I could have, chronic spinal disorder, to cancer, to something. They couldn't figure it out, to being able to modify my diet, and it all went away. Okay, so there's a lot of power in that. So where does this show up now? when I speak across the country. I do events everywhere. I've got an event coming up in Cozumel, Mexico, one in Las Vegas, like all kinds of crazy stuff. So the way that this shows up for me on a daily basis is I have to plan ahead. I have to plan my diet because it's not easy for me to go to a restaurant. Even nice restaurants love to put butter on everything. They love to fry food. Like I can't, like my food can't even touch like that or I'll get sick. So for me, it requires a lot of pre-planning and it requires a lot of meal prep. Like I literally have to bring food with me when I travel. So there's some days where I'll go to an event and everybody's like pigging out on a buffet. I'm eating like bananas with almond butter on them and deli meat. You know, it's like, it's crazy. So I have to be very organized and very structured and disciplined with my diet. But what's great about that is the willpower that it's caused me to have spreads out into every other part of my life. Like,
I was gonna say,
it's so easy now.
That underlying principle with your food alone is showing up, and it's one of your success principles for your business and your relationships and everything.
Oh yeah. I look back over the last few years, you know, and look, I'm not judging anybody. You know, if people want to have a couple beers or they want to have a drink or have some whiskey or whatever, like all of that's fine with me. I don't judge anyone. But what I can tell you is that the periods where I've chosen to go completely clean, no alcohol, and following just a strict, like low carb, high protein diet with lots of greens, like we literally drink green juice every single day. Spinach, green apples, kale, broccoli. I mean, it literally every day. And with that being said, it's like I've felt the most energy. I felt the greatest in my whole life. Like nutrition is so important.
Thank you for sharing that.
Even for entrepreneurs, even if you don't have any fitness goals, it truly does help your success in all areas of your life.
Shows up everywhere.
Absolutely.
So as we wrap up, what is either a experience, short story you could share with people for inspiration, motivation, or a success principle or quote? I'll give you the choice.
The biggest thing, especially for people that are starting out on their journey for success, and whatever your goal is, it doesn't matter, this will work. Always know that hard work pays off and that it's okay to fail. Now, what I mean by that is, you know, if you're setting these high fitness goals, for example, and you want to lose weight, if you have a cheat day and you eat a cookie or a muffin or a cupcake or whatever, like don't beat yourself up over it. Prepare to have the lows before you have the highs again. Okay. So failing is not bad if you can anticipate it and if you can have a plan for when your willpower drains out. You know, if you look at people who cheat on their diet or people that like drop the ball in their business, it usually happens after a long, stressful day where their willpower has been tested. And then they come home and they're like, all right, I'm going to have that beer and that piece of cake right there looks delicious and I'm going to have that. And just know ahead of time that like the more organized you are, that with proper planning and just understanding that if you do get tempted by that, as long as you don't overindulge and beat yourself up over it, it's okay every now and then to kind of fall flat and get yourself picked back up. I don't believe in perfection. And I think that people who sell that illusion of like everything in life is perfect, they're lying to you. So in business, it's okay to fail. You learn from your mistakes. And I think at the end of the day, as long as you're willing to take more action and outwork everybody, you'll always reach your goals, regardless of what they are.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
And how can everyone find you after they listen to this episode? And who will be the perfect person to reach out to you?
Yeah, absolutely. The easiest way to find me is going to be through either Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter. I have a Snapchat account, but I rarely use it. I'm also on LinkedIn. So if you look for Duane Spires, it's spelled D-U-A-N-E, last name Spires, S-P-I-R-E-S. I'm easy to find. I'm like the only one with that name that is on social media, which is kind of cool. And then, the perfect person to reach out to me is anybody who wants, inspiration or motivation, anyone who has business questions. But more specifically, if you're interested in, a coaching type relationship with your business, I work exclusively with entrepreneurs who are ready to take their business to the next level, to go from like the 6-figure to 7-figure level. And I'm really excited to work with people like that as well.
Great. And I know you especially help martial arts school owners and aspiring martial school owners.
Yeah. So my main focus right now on coaching is going to be in the martial arts space. We work with instructors, school owners on that, as well as in the childcare industry. So anybody that owns any type of business that enrolls children as their members, that's where we coach them and we help them get their business to the next level.
Cool. Perfect. Thank you so much for joining me, folks. There's Duane Spires. Make sure to connect with him in today's show notes, and on wherever we post this, you will have links back to where you can find him.
Yeah. And thank you for having me, John. I really appreciate it. And I look forward to connecting with a lot of the viewers.
Absolutely. Take care.
See ya.